Welcome to Dental Business RX. Practice success in 30 minutes or less.
Thank you for calling ABC Dental.
With the new year just around the corner, you've probably at least considered a few things that you'd like to change, add, or do differently in your practice. Well, what about your marketing? If there's one word that you could use to describe, how to maintain effectiveness in marketing, it's change. Marketing changes. Marketing gets tired. Marketing loses effectiveness. The channels that may have worked before can stop working, and channels that used to work that no longer work can work again in the future. So change is a key operative word when it comes to marketing. So if you're thinking with that word and you're looking at the new year that we're about to walk into, what changes should you be making? What should you be looking at? What are the newest trends so that you can stay on top of your marketing for your practice and make sure that you're getting an effective number of new patients? Well, that's what I plan to cover in this week's episode. Important marketing trends for 2025. My name is Jeff Bloomberg and I'm your host. And to cover this, I've asked our resident marketing expert. He's also a senior consultant here at MGE and a partner at Bloomberg Digital, Mr. Dan Brown, to join us. And if you don't know Dan, after you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you do know Dan. Generally speaking, if we have a client who has any marketing issue, the person they talk to is Dan. This is what he does 24/7. He knows this like the back of his hand. So Dan, welcome to the show for this week.
Thank you, sir. I'm
not going to ask my obligatory question I've asked all guests. Are you hooked up over there? Because I know you are. Anyway. And obviously, they just heard you say hi. And one thing I wanted to mention before we get into this, because I know we can get pretty enthusiastic about some new ideas, but if somebody has something they're doing, they're doing postcards and they're getting 25, 30 new patients a month and it's got great ROI, don't change that.
Don't change it.
Yeah, no. If something's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? But we were talking about this earlier because, you're kind of, for you, it probably moves a little bit more in slow motion, I imagine, because you're watching it as it goes.
Yeah.
But if I look at what's changed just in the last 2-3 years or since, prior to COVID to now, just in the whole marketing landscape, it's pretty intense, actually.
Massive. Yeah. Huge.
So if you were to look at, I know you came up with 3 things that you wanted to discuss, but what are these 3 things? What are the top 3 things or new key trends that you're seeing that you're advising your clients about to make sure that they stay on top of things?
Yeah, good question. And first and top of the list is Google Ads. I think a lot more dentists are using Google Ads, and I think that's good.
Sure.
I think it's a great way to get immediate result. If that's your first marketing channel, that's a good place to start. But there are some major changes on that. Then something that's really come into play, I think, again, a lot more doctors are doing video. But are they doing explainer videos?
Okay.
So we're going to talk
about those.
Yeah. And then last but certainly not least, follow up. So when you get a lead, you get a referral, you get a name, you get a contact form completed, what do you do and how often do you chase that lead up? And there is an ice water dip that a lot of clients get when they speak to us and our team about how much follow-up is necessary, how to do that follow-up. And when they start to follow through on those actions, they see a massive change in their return on investment.
Okay, cool. All right, so then let's start with the first point, Google Ads. So I know a lot of people do Google Ads. What are the major changes you've seen there?
Well, whether it's Google just decided to do it, whether that's just another thing that has increased in price with everything else, or there's just more people doing it, it is more expensive today. So the cost per click, when you look at Google PPC, that's pay per click, you know that. Some people don't. I literally had one of our dentists say, we do pay-per-clip marketing.
Oh, that's
pay-per-clip.
Cute. That's cute.
And so it's a terminology of its own marketing, but Google PPC or Google AdWords is pay per click. So what is it costing to get that click? And that click value it's escalated pretty astronomically, actually.
So, and just to clarify, so when I say I type in dentist near me and then, there's the sponsored ones that come up near the top.
Yeah.
So if I click that costs the office that put that ad up money.
That's right.
So if it's $10 a click, that costs them $10 for me to click it. Couldn't I, in theory, just go find my competitor? I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. And there are people who do that. It's pretty unethical, but Google is going to see after a while, no, you're just trying to run up
Yeah, they know
clicks
you're a
on
bit of a
this.
troll at that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
So now when you say it's gone up in price, how much, like, what are you seeing? Like, what was it and in what time period? So in 23, 22, it was X amount and now it's Y. What was X? What's Y?
Well, so let's take your example, dentist near me. Back before COVID-19, 2019, position number one, dentist near me might be $12, $14
Per click.
per click. Position number two might be $9, $8. Position number three might have been $7.
Okay.
Those we're seeing as high as $30 for number one.
Wow.
Yeah. And, listen, it depends on your competition in your area, but it's massive. That's a massive change. So when you just said, $10, I got pretty excited. I'm like, wow, $10? Where are you getting that?
Yeah.
But
that was a theoretical
yeah,
example.
I'm just kidding. But it is it's a changing landscape with the cost per click. And then when you look into like dental implants, you want implants, you want to get higher value treatment from some of these ads. Great. But we've seen implant clicks up to $90.
Wait, so I type in, what's the patient's search query?
Dental implants near me,
Okay.
or, I want,
Replace
teeth
my
in a
missing
day,
teeth
or full
okay.
arch. Not a lot of people will type in full arch. I mean, that's somebody who's shopping and they know what they're searching for.
Sure.
So, but even just dental implants, dentist near me or dentist that delivers, places implants, this sort of a thing. That is a very expensive.
So you've seen 90 a click
I've seen
on
90 a click. Invisalign, expensive. So you're already paying Invisalign,
that? Right.
big money.
That's
Now,
so funny. That's become, not to digress, but that's become sort of the, the grand prize, it seems like, for marketing. When you see it out, we'll help you get to the top with Invisalign. And I'm not anti-Invisalign. I mean, I did Invisalign. I was an Invisalign patient. I was very happy with the results.
Sure.
But, I also know the other side of the stick, and that most doctors are paying a 36% lab fee for Invisalign.
That's right.
So if I were pushing Invisalign, I'd probably have it grow organically in my practice rather than advertise for it, because I'm only losing 40% of the fee.
Which we're going to talk about on the next point when it talks about video and explainer videos. But that's in the area of SEO. And there's still, it works. Google ads work. But there's still a bunch of people, 7 out of 10, that are not going to click on an ad.
Right.
Do we tell our clients to do Google ads? Absolutely.
Sure.
Especially until we have them fully optimized and they're ranking organically, organic meaning not paid, organically at the top. And when they get to the top, they say, great, can we start Google ads? And you know what we tell them? No way.
Okay.
Keep it going. So there are people who will click ads, and you could do things with ads that you can't do organically, but it is expensive and it's busier. There's more people doing it, so there's more competition. Google standards are higher, so you just can't have some dude operating out of his mom's garage like you could in the earlier days, like you were saying with Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook, the portal was simple to deal with. Now, I think they probably made it more complex to shake out the inexperienced types.
Which is probably not a bad idea.
Yeah.
But it does make it complex. It makes it complex when you want to do your own ads, what they call, like smart ads, which are not smart at all. But, that's just kind of spray and pray and hope that something comes from it. You'll go through your budget in attempts to try and save yourself a management fee, which you can't blame someone from wanting to save money. But then they end up wasting all their budget and assuming that, Google ads don't work. Well, Google ads wasn't really given an honest try in that case. So those are some things.
And so I guess what's interesting is how would this, if someone's listening and they do ads, which I know I would imagine at least 40%, 50% of the people listening probably do some form of Google ads.
I'd say less.
Less.
Yeah.
Well, you should be.
Should be.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But so if someone's listening, they've been doing their Google ads and they've seen the effectiveness drop off. It may be not because their ads are bad. It may just be because their budget hasn't changed.
That's right.
So if I was spending $10 a click, which I know that's in my theoretical world, and I was getting 150 clicks a month for my $1,500, well, now if I'm spending 20 a click, I don't have the money for 150 clicks.
That's right.
So I think people need to start thinking with that and really looking at what my cost per click is, because other people have entered the arena, so to speak, right?
That's right.
Did Google just do like an inflationary? I mean, nobody really knows what Google does or why, but we know what they do. We don't know why.
Yeah.
But did they just do an increase for the sake of an increase, or do we have any idea?
I think they did it because they can. I can't imagine what's gotten more expensive. All of this is they're not printing anything, and I get it. There's standards and regulations, and they've got their compliance to whomever if they have compliance to whatever regulatory body. But I cannot think. Obviously, their employment costs, just like everybody else, have gone up. But when you take a look at how much it's gone up, I just can't understand it.
Because we're talking double, triple, quadruple here.
These big numbers. And then the competition, where now more people are doing it correctly, they should be doing it. So you have other practices that are doing this. So there's more people around you. And so let's talk about that budget. Somebody says, oh yeah, I'm definitely doing Google Ads. I'm spending a ton of money. I'm spending like $500 a month, $1,000 a month. Right there.
Yeah.
You just know. You're not even hitting.
So 500, 1,000 a month is just
it's
wasting time. Got it.
Waste of time. So you got to commit again. Why you should have a competent strategist who knows what they're doing and could get maximum value out of that click. So when it clicks, please don't send them to your website. Please do not send these clicks to your website. Google hates it, and people hate it because they get sent to a website, and your website has 30 different offerings. Right. So somebody's clicking for a cosmetic offering, and now they're reading about an extraction. They're already lost, and they feel lost, and they go somewhere else, and they bounce. That's literally a technical term, bounce. They go and they visit, and then they leave within a certain number of seconds. That's called a bounce. Now your bounce rate is getting higher because people are dispersed or they're not channeled properly, and that impacts your campaign. If you're sending them to your website, it impacts your website. So a good strategist is going to take that lead. It's going to be a click to calls to practice, or it's going to take them to a landing page and talk about, well, if they clicked on cosmetic, it's going to talk about cosmetic.
I see. Okay. And this is something, here's our shameless plug, first shameless plug of the episode. You guys do, I know you do Google Ad Management. And we'll put a link to Bloomberg. Should we give them your email address?
Sure.
Or to the, just put your email. Just
Dan at bloombergdigital.com.
Let's put it on the episode webpage too. If you have questions about this stuff, I know you guys have this pretty well under control and on lock. So,
and what we do is we do an audit. So if you've got a provider, we've had people say, "Oh, my provider's horrible. Can we switch to you?" And we generally say, "Listen, before you come over, let us audit."
Sure.
We find individuals hitting miracle results. And we tell them, do not change it here. Rather, increase your budget over here, restrict your ad times because nobody's covering the phones to your business hours and your operational days. So we'll give people advice.
Or their conversion may just be terrible too.
Yeah, exactly. Good point.
Okay, so then as far as if someone has questions about this, has my price per click gone up? Am I getting the most out of it? They can just contact you directly and you'll do is the audit cost anything or
no,
it's free?
Free
okay.
audit.
There you go. Shameless plug number one.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So that's point number one. That's the major change you've seen there. And that is kind of bizarre, the amount that's increased.
Bizarre, and it's big and it's costly if you don't know about it.
Crazy. Okay, so number two you mentioned, and I found this really intriguing, right? The explainer video concept. So now, what do you mean by that exactly?
Okay, so I think a lot of people have moved into the video space. They're getting testimonial videos. They'll fly in some video team to do a series of videos and spend big money, thousands of dollars, to have a practice tour done and a doctor interview and some testimonials. Listen, we do that. We have video shoot teams we can send to practices and charge our clients thousands of dollars. But what's actually got more traction today is an explainer video. And an explainer video, if you think with the idea that, say, veneers or implants or Invisalign or clear aligner therapy of any type.
We're all on X cases.
All on X cases, a full arch. That's big money. That's big money.
Sure.
So think like a consumer right now. What's big money to you? What moves out of an impulse buy? What's that value? It's an interesting question to ask yourself. We all have what we're going to spend without doing any homework. And then we get into a certain number where we start doing some research.
Right. Like a car or, well, heck, I mean, in some cases, an FM or a all on X case could cost what a car costs.
Sure. Yeah. And I'm a real cheapie. So when you leave the $100, you leave the $75 back. I'm doing reviews. I'm checking things out because I just want to make sure I don't get burned. I've been burned as a consumer, and so is everybody else.
Right.
So what is that threshold for the average person And then, okay, so now they're going to check into clear aligners or Invisalign or veneers or implants. That's big money. A single implant is big money for the average person.
That's true.
So they're going to go do some research on it. Where are they going to do that research?
With the internet.
In the internet. So you better be there. And you better be there not just with a commercial. You better be there with the commonly asked questions. And this ties in with SEO.
Okay.
A lot of people are excited about AI. I'm excited about AI. You and I use AI all the time.
And
but
I'm very nice to it because one day, you
you
don't
better.
want it to,
I thank it. I say, you're so
Exactly.
awesome.
I love you, AI.
I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't kill my
What
family.
if AI listens to this, though, eventually? Yeah. Anyway.
We
never
do
mind.
love you, AI.
AI is awesome.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah.
So, but SEO, Google knows how to read if something's got AI and if it's just blurted out content. So SEO is search engine optimization. It's, without getting super nerdy, it's the idea of ranking organically, which is not paid, rather than a sponsored or paid search.
Right. So if I look at dentists near me, it's going to use certain criteria to pick which appears first, second, third, what goes on to page 2. And if you're meeting those criteria, you're higher up in the
That's right.
search. Yeah.
That's right. So you got to think, what do you want to rank for? I want to rank for implants. I want to rank for clear aligners or Invisalign. I want to rank for emergencies. Great. So you need to have content on your website that is substantial and falls into a few different categories. And there's so many different factors concerning SEO, but let's just stick with some basic categorization that Google is looking at your website and your content to judge if you should be at the top or at the bottom.
Okay.
So your content has to be original. That's why we do original website development at Bloomberg Digital. We do not use templated documentation or data to repopulate across our websites, but many companies do.
So this is, in other words, I'm doing the same website essentially for everybody with just a couple few different words here or there.
Rinse and repeat with some certain alterations. You used to be able to do that and get away with just changing the name. Then you had to a little bit. Today you have to be vastly different than wherever that templated data came from. So great. Well, I'll just use AI. No, Google can read AI.
Right.
So,
I know that.
So who's going to sit down and write 1,250 words on dental implants or emergency?
Right. That's going to take some time.
Yeah, good. So you're going to use a copywriter with your website company or whatever. Or the website company is going to use a copywriter. Good. That copywriter, how many times can he write that article differently before he's basically writing it the same way?
Or and then chances are they used AI to write it.
So what we're doing is we're having our clients, we send them out the most commonly searched questions on Google with regards to dental implants, emergencies, teeth extractions, all the big searches. And we have someone in the office, could be their spouse, office manager, treatment coordinator, whomever, get their phone out, put it on a tripod, connect one of the little smart mics to it so they've got a good microphone.
And all of this, they have the phone. The tripod's like $30.
Yeah, 20.
And those mics, I've seen you use those Bluetooth mics that attach to a phone. How much are those?
$30.
Yeah. Okay. So
I like the good ones, and I could have an equipment list in the link, but I don't mess around on that because it does kind of suck when all of a sudden you get to the end of your 5-minute video and the audio isn't working, or it's scruffing, or it's crackling.
Or you record an entire episode of the podcast and you didn't hit the record button, which I've done at least 6 times since I've been doing that.
Makes you feel like stabbing yourself in the neck, doesn't it?
Well, you got to record it again.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it kind of sucked.
Yeah.
Even when they're really good, especially where you thought they were good.
Yeah, but even the mics that are like $30 are going to work 95 times out of 100.
So what's like a good mic cost? $80?
A good mic is about $150 to $250.
But still, I mean, think about this versus 30 years ago or 20 years ago.
Gosh.
20 years ago, where you were using a camcorder still or something like this with terrible audio. Now you have 4K video, 1080p video
on your phone.
With a mic that costs $150 and a tripod you can get from Amazon for $30.
That's right.
And it's a Bluetooth mic, so there's no wires.
That's right.
And it's crystal clear, perfect audio.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So we send out some questions to be read by said office manager or spouse or treatment coordinator to the doctor. And then the doctor just answers. These are common questions that doctors answer all the time. all the time.
Give me an example of this. So then you would be recording this as an example, and then I'm of course going to answer this for crap because I'm not a dentist, but I'll do my best here. But just to give these guys, because you have, I've seen these scripts.
Scripts.
Yeah.
But they're not scripts for the doctor to read.
No, I know, but you have a script of questions.
We call them interview scripts. And so for dental implants, this is the one, it's literally right in front of me. So these are the most common questions searched on Google. What are dental implants and how do they work?
Okay, so they would ask the doctor that, and the doctor would say, it's a great question.
And incorporate the question in the answer.
So what is a dental implant and how does it work? Okay, so
I get asked the question, hey, what are dental implants and how do they work? Such a great question. So a dental implant, and then he just riffs.
Okay, so then they go over a dental implant is it's a special titanium screw that goes into your gum to replace a missing tooth.
No clinical
blah,
speak.
blah, 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 blah.
Just absolutely, just as they answer to their patient probably 10 times a month.
So don't use the word super erupt as to why they should replace a missing tooth. Please don't. Tooth above it may super erupt. They go, what? Yeah.
And if you ever do need to use clinical terminology, use the clinical terminology. So the tooth might drift, and what that means is blah, blah, blah.
Got it.
So if you think like you're talking to a 16-year-old and, just do your best to answer it. I know a lot of people get a little freaked out when they're looking into a lens. What we do is we move the camera off to the side a little bit and just they're talking to the office manager and picturing that office manager is a patient. And the office manager is looking at them encouragingly and shaking their head and thumbs up. And so this is not the place to go super serious. The person will then type that in. You've just gone on your normal explanation, which you think is going to be relatively short. And then by the end of that, so a couple other questions once the doctor is finished with that.
So let me play this forward. You've asked all these questions. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
So you've asked me all these questions. I've answered them all.
Yep.
And we've got a 5-minute video.
Generally, you would think it'd be 5 minutes. What ends up happening, it's 8 to 12 minutes.
Okay.
The average person talks at about 250 words a minute. Just do the math on that. 8 minutes, 250 words a minute. You've got thousands of words.
Okay.
That now is an original, right? It's nobody else has said it.
That's true.
I don't care if you put 10 doctors in a row, which we do, and we ask those same questions. It is varied. Of course, it's generally the same.
Sure.
But they all approach it and they answer those questions differently. So that's now original content. From a validated authority, which is a doctor, this is important for SEO. Now, for dentistry or anything healthcare, there are 3 fields that are very, very important that Google is listen, it must come from an authority. It's medical, science, and art for whatever reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first 2 make sense.
The first 2 makes lots of sense. So Google wants to make sure there's a validated authority connected to that content.
Okay.
So we get those questions asked, the answers come out, it's authentic, it's original, and it's a valid authority. Now, what we do at our marketing companies, we take that video, we do minor edits to take out the slip-ups and the ers and the ums.
Do you take out the questions from the office manager?
Sometimes the doctors forget to incorporate the question in the answer, and you do need that question in there because we then have the doctors upload to their YouTube channel. Start one, it's free, it's easy. If you don't know how to do it, YouTube it. Like it's,
Do they put it on their website as well?
And then we embed it in their website.
Got it.
And then what we do at our marketing company is we take that and we code that, we transcribe it and code it. So the actual text is all there. So when somebody does a search, well, this is an original article. It's ranking because it's so thick, right? It's not thin. And then people click there, and what do you think they're going to do, Jeff? Do you think they're going to read the article or are they going to watch the video?
They're probably going to watch the video.
They're going to watch the video.
So let me get this straight. So then basically you've got the video. You got let's say I have a page on my site for implants, right? So I have a page on my website for implants. And you've now embedded this video on my page. You've done whatever edits. Hopefully I incorporated the question each time because then we're going to edit out the office manager or my spouse asking me the questions.
Correct.
And then you're going to transcribe that video and turn that into the text on that webpage.
That's right.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So that I'm actually populating my own website with my own verbiage.
That's right.
That's super cool.
And the most powerful aspect of it, behind the SEO aspect is massive.
Sure.
But the most powerful thing is that when somebody is searching for that and they find that and they're they'll click on the video and they'll do what most people do. They multitask. They're doing this while they're listening, right? And then they'll go, that's a really good point. I hadn't thought about that. What a great point. And they start to meet the doctor, and the doctor for that person becomes an authority. He or she is now talking to this potential new patient, and the potential new patient is going, she's amazing. Wow. And she seems pretty nice, and she's not that scary. You got to know, a lot of patients are out there. They've had past bad experiences. They hate drills and needles. They're embarrassed that they have neglected their health. And now they see this person talking just like a normal person. And they start to create a little bit of a, bond with this doctor. So now they reach out and they call, and then the doctor sees them. They're like, hi, I saw your videos. I just wanted.
Isn't that funny how if a person sees you on video and then they see you in person, even though it's not like you're on, you're not a movie or something like that, but there's a connection.
How many times have you had people come up to you here at MGE because their staff have been watching you on DDS Success and they say, I just want to meet you. I really.
A good amount. Yeah, and it's great to me. You know what? I'm just glad somebody's watching this stuff.
But I mean, they walk up a little bit starstruck, don't they? A little bit.
I mean, I don't know what I'd call it. I'm not really good at handling that type of attention, but I'm just appreciative of the fact that they're watching it and they got something out of it.
Thing is they feel they know you, and it's not like you're some big celebrity with them, but you have this new and I think necessary altitude.
It creates familiarity.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so a patient walks in and sees the doctor and, you're that guy I saw on video. And
right.
So it's got a lot of knock on. So that's an explainer video. And
I'm sorry, I'm just, as you're saying it, I'm thinking of all the multiple applications because, sorry, I'm cutting you off here as I'm thinking with it. So it's on my website. It's what my text on my website is now out of my mouth.
That's right.
It's on my YouTube channel. So people who are searching YouTube are going to find this type of stuff. And then I can take it and throw it on TikTok, carve it up into shorts.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can carve it into YouTube shorts, TikTok shorts, put it on Instagram. I can put it everywhere.
Yeah, and a lot of our doctors in Bloomberg Digital don't have the time, resources, or know how to do that. So we just handle all that.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
And that's what you need to do today for marketing, but nobody can do what the doctor does.
Right.
Nobody can answer that question, and nobody should be answering that question except the doctor.
Yeah, good point. Good point. So that's I know that you guys have been talking about that for a while. What type of effect are you seeing from a new patient? I mean, obviously it's educating this consumer because I have more information at my fingertips than I've ever had at any fellow consumer.
Yeah.
Anybody. We all have more information at our fingertips than we've ever had, I mean, in the history of humanity to now, right? So assuming I've done my research, right, like what type of effect or knock-on effects are you seeing from people having these videos like in full rollout in their practice?
So the SEO is phenomenal. The SEO is phenomenal because now in a 5-minute video, I'm a fast talker, so I'm at about 300 plus words a minute. Even a slow talker at 200 words a minute. When you think about a 5-minute video, you're knocking out 1,000 words. You're ranking now for original content, and then you just keep rolling these out. All the common questions: what are dental implants? What is Invisalign or clear aligner therapy? And what's the difference, or what should I know the difference between clear aligner therapy and traditional braces? Doctors can answer this stuff. It just comes out like a torrent. I mean, it just comes.
And you do this for everything, endodontics, everything.
Everything. And so these are the commonly asked questions. And, doctor, you can actually just sit, or assistants or treatment coordinators or office managers, just index what are the questions that are being asked in the operatory each day. Just do that for a week or two. There's your content.
I see.
Yeah. So that has a massive impact on the SEO. The other impact is creating that familiar bond with the patient, because you could have a website and it looks fantastic. It's aesthetically pleasing. It's all this, but it's got stock photos in it and there's nothing personal. This really personalizes the experience. And some of our doctors get, oh no, I slipped on this one and I stumbled. And I'd say, you know what? Well done. Because that makes you real.
Yeah.
They know that you're not some Aspen actor. This is this is a real person at a real practice. People like that family dentistry feel, believe it or not. Doesn't have to be some perfectly lit and amazing set. No, it's you talking.
Right. Okay, cool. So this is something they could jump onto right away. As a matter of fact, I think you said you had one of those I could offer as we're going to put up as a download for these folks, the implant one, right? Yeah. So if you want, you can download Dan's script from Bloomberg Digital, the implant script on how to create your own implant video. We'll put it as a free download on the episode webpage.
Yeah, and just here are my tits. Have some fun with it. Just have some fun. Mm-hmm. Just pretend that the phone and the lens that you're looking at is not the phone and lens. It's a patient, and just have some fun with it.
Okay, cool, great. All right, so that's the second thing. So now we have this third thing you mentioned, which is follow-up. So when you first said it, I was like, I was thinking about it for a second. But it is something, it's one of those things that if you compare it to other industry with leads, people just don't do it. I just never have understood this. Like new patient calls, didn't schedule, let's never talk to them again. Right? Or they call, schedule, and miss their appointment. Oh, we're never going to call them again. Like it's just this weird flow. But so what are you seeing and how are you handling it?
So that right there just sums it up. That nails it. I think from our clients, and we've been working to kind of flush this out, but you call somebody and you call them again and you text them and you email them and you get some blowback every now and again.
Sure.
You guys are just calling incessantly. Take me off your list. This is harassment. And that squeaky wheel becomes the policy setter.
Right.
Person actually is creating policy around the exception.
Yeah.
And
that's pretty common in
general. So common. Yeah. So common. And of course, take a look at our clients. They're these big, beautiful, golden-hearted individuals who don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. They just want to do their job and help people. So they hear from a patient who's horribly upset that I get all these text messages from you guys. And so they stop their patient reminders. I mean, it's horrible. Well, take a look on a lead. Somebody has reached out, filled out a contact form, come in from a Facebook campaign or reached out. Hey, I see you guys. Do you guys do Invisalign or do you guys do emergency handlings? I think most emergencies are probably going to schedule because it's the patient.
Yeah, most of the time it seems like, I mean, I've just been looking at a couple and you know this far better than me,
Sure.
But I mean, it looks like the majority of Google responses are usually a phone call.
Yeah.
But then what I've noticed is when people call outside of office hours, it's like, oh, forget that person.
Or we called them and, sent them a text, but we never heard back.
Right. Like it's just like blip, let's move on.
Yeah.
Or you'll occasionally get, like you mentioned, a form lead where the person, because obviously most of these pages have the ability, and most websites are going to have request an appointment or something like this. And I know implant funnels do form leads pretty much
Correct.
exclusively. But so let me just, to clear this up, just so it's clear to everybody, well, just so I'm on top of this. So if I have, let's say I get an ad response. Someone calls and they called about whatever implants or something,
Sure.
and
Veneers, whatever.
Veneers, and they're going to call me back to make an appointment. I blew the conversion, so I have a name, I have a phone number, I have a chief complaint, I have all of these things, right? I filled out a new patient intake form. So what would you want me to do with that? The person hasn't scheduled. What's the norm as far as how you've seen that handled, and what would be your expectation?
Good. So you got that lead. I'm going to call it lead, reach, whatever you want to call it. We're going to call that person, and most likely it's going to be from a number they don't know. So, and and the person receiving that phone call is going to do what everybody here would do and ignore that phone call.
Well, I answer every phone call because I like talking about car warranties for a car I had 3 cars ago. Anyway, sorry, I get it. They're going to blow it off.
They're going to blow it off. So we're going to call them, and then we're going to leave a voicemail message.
Okay, because everybody listens to voicemails.
Well, a lot of people use voicemail transcription to text.
That's true.
So, but people will listen to their voicemails. Good. So we're going to leave a voicemail. I'm calling from the doctor's office, getting back to you. We're going to position this as more medical rather than advertising or marketing. It's, this is Dan. I'm calling from ABC Family Dentistry. Doctor asked me to call you.
Okay. You contacted our office earlier about blah.
Definitely want to reach out and get you some help. Then I'm going to send a text message, and then I'm going to send an email if I have an email address. That's a 4-part.
And this is all, let's say it was a response that came in at 4 a.m. Maybe that's a little weird one. Say it came in at 6:30 last night and the office closed at 5.
Yeah.
So we get the voicemail in the morning or the form lead or the whatever.
Yeah.
So we've called, we've left a voicemail, we've sent a text
Yeah.
and an email.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's on day one.
That's on
the
day
next morning.
Right.
Okay.
And I'm going to do that again that afternoon.
Okay. So now what's normal? What do you see most offices actually do?
So they're going to get back to that hopefully sometime within the next day or two.
Okay.
And then they might reach out one more time.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to say, yeah, we never heard back.
All right. So here's this lead that they spent probably hundreds of dollars to obtain. This click, right? I mean, well, not click, but an actual call now. It's one thing for the person to click. It's another for them to call.
That's right.
So we spent a couple $100 for this person to call us, maybe $300-$400 what we spent.
Sure.
Call comes in. So the average office is going to call that person the next day sometime and send an email maybe, if there's an email address, maybe a text.
Maybe a text.
Okay. And then that's it.
Maybe reach out again.
Now, so that's wrong.
That's wrong. That's so wrong. That's so expensive.
So what you're suggesting is I'm going to call, email, text in the morning when I get this in the morning.
And then email if there's an email.
And then in the afternoon, you want me to do that again?
I do.
Okay. And then, so that day's gone by. I still haven't heard from this person. What next?
So we're going to do that again the next day.
So now let's say I got this lead on Monday morning when we came in. They called Sunday night at 6 or something. So I've called, emailed, texted.
And email.
Right. Called, voicemail, email, text.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing that twice on day one.
Yeah.
I've done it again on day 2.
Yeah. I'm going to probably go to one time on day 3, one time on day 4. And even if you don't have practice hours for patients on Friday, we're going to send it out again Friday.
So basically what I'm looking for is this person's either going to call me and say, stop calling me.
Which is great.
Or they're going to respond and, we're going to talk.
One of the best compliments you could get is somebody's like, for God's sake, would you please stop texting and calling me? And, your response is absolutely, listen, we just help people with healthy teeth and gums live longer. And we just want our patients and potential patients to live long, healthy lives. Whether or not you're going to do that with this office or another office, we just want to make sure you're healthy. So it's good that you're on the phone. Now, you mentioned an issue or you mentioned an interest in or whatever. Even if the person doesn't know who that person is because they weren't the person who called. Sure. It's just a receptionist. So who reached out to you and what was that about exactly? I'm going to get you connected right now. Thank you for calling. We're going to end that pain of all those calls and texts right now. Who is the person who called you? So this is, and if the person says, take me off your list, this is just
take
crazy.
them off the list.
Take them off the list.
Yeah.
And then call everybody else.
Yeah. Interesting. Because this is something that in retail or service businesses, or pretty much any business actually, if I go, anywhere, if I buy something online with e-commerce, I'm going to get emailed continuously. And I challenge anybody listening, and listen, there are exceptions, but most of us will get an email, once a week or, once a month is just unseen. But a lot of the times it's multiple through the week and even once a day. How many of us unsubscribe from those things? Well, listen, if it was a once-off purchase and that's one and done, especially if we weren't happy with what happened there, we're going to unsubscribe and I don't want anything to do with that. And that's still okay. But so many of us just let the emails just continue to come in. But we have this idea, or I've seen this idea in medical, that, I don't want to harass the person. Right. No, that makes sense.
And that's just not an accurate data. You're not harassing.
Yeah, I think there's an interesting balance, right? If I bought something 6 months ago and I'm getting emailed once a week from that company, I usually don't care. That's fine. I mean, sometimes it's interesting. I'll read it. Maybe there's something on special I want to buy, or maybe it's informational or whatever. If I was getting like 2-3 emails a day, that would be a bit much, but that's a lot different than what you're describing, which is I just inquired. Like, hey, I'm interested in your new patient special. If someone's chasing me to schedule, I would kind of expect that.
I'm going to call that person 3 times that day.
But I would expect that. Yeah. Why'd you call me 3 times? Well, you didn't answer the first 2 and you inquired about our, scheduling an appointment last night. So I don't want you to just feel like we don't give a crap. I mean, I wouldn't say that, but you know what I mean?
And I'm going to tell you this, you feel like, okay, the corporates are moving in. And I think for a lot of our clients, the corporates actually send them more business than cost them.
There's so not competition.
Yeah. But one thing they got down is this advertising and lead management.
Yeah, the conversion
Their
rate.
call centers are just like amazing, and they chase like this, and they do so well. Hey, so yeah. I keep getting your calls. I'm not answering because I'm at work. Absolutely understood. We're just calling because we want to make sure you get the help. When's a good time to call you right back? And sorry for the disrespect. They're good.
Yeah.
They are
I've heard
good.
some of the recordings of these
They're
folks.
good. So,
But that's the difference versus a person sitting at the front who's trying to check a patient out and the phone's coming in, a phone call's coming in at the same time, and they're being asked a question by the other person at the front, and in comes a new patient call.
that's right.
Versus someone just sitting in a cubicle handling this new patient
That's
call
right.
or chasing these leads.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hugely different.
So, I will say that those that have done DDS Success, the phone skills training, and those that have done the ABC communication sales seminars, miles and miles above where some of our other clients are at, because they really do understand those skills and how to, handle communication and concerns and stuff like that. But I will tell everybody here right now who's listening, it's so important that you realize you're never going to make everybody happy.
Right.
And if there is a squeaky wheel and somebody absolutely in the moment, oh, I'm so sorry. It sounds like this came across wrong.
Yeah.
Our apologies. Yes, we'll take you off the list immediately, and then do so.
Yeah.
And then smile and move on to the next one, and know that you're helping people live healthier, longer lives.
So so just to tack on to what you're saying there, you mentioned the on DDS Success, the phone skills. I'll put a link to DDS Success. That's our online training platform. There's actually this whole course on marketing from Dan on there too, if you want to check it out, which is really awesome. But we do have a course on phone skills there for
Phone
your
skills
staff.
is amazing. The phone skills, anybody who touches the phones needs
Yeah,
to.
they should all do that course.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned the sales and communication seminars. This is like a episode full of shameless plugs. I love this. The MGE communication sales seminars, both Dan and I speak at those, as well as a few of our more graduated clients, Doctors Philemon, Salvatore, and Barskar. And actually also Rushi, who they've heard on the podcast before, starts them off. But if you want to check those out, I'll put a link to those on the episode webpage. The average client doing those sees about a $288,000 increase in revenue. You just got to get your patients to want what you need, or they need rather, not what you need.
And to bring some of your key staff who are connecting with patients, and if they can't come with you in person, have them live stream it
they can stream
concurrent.
it. Yeah.
It's just the change of the office numbers and just the ability of the office to feel comfortable and less stressed is night and day.
Right. Yeah. So if someone takes something out of this, they walk away, let's say, with one thing, would it be that they need to have a protocol for continuing? Like when would they give up on a new patient prospect?
So what we typically do, and it kind of depends upon what that is, a new patient special.
Right. Let's say it's not an implant funnel lead.
Yeah.
Because not everybody's doing those. Let's say it's just a regular Google Ads lead.
Sure.
Person was interested in my new patient special. So they left a lead. They called in the morning before we got into the office, or we talked to them and they couldn't schedule right there. So I get that I'm emailing them and calling them every day, in the beginning twice a day.
Yep.
When are we going to stop calling this person?
Next week we're going to do once a day minimum, and then we might in the next week move to once every other day. We generally do 21 days of follow up, and then we keep them if they're emailing. We're sending them an email once a month.
Okay.
Thereafter.
So we're staying on, like they're going to hear from me for forever until they either opt out or tell me to stop calling them.
That's right.
Got it. Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
So if people walk away with one, they need to have a set follow-up protocol for these leads because they're wasting a ton of money.
Yeah, and I would say in addition to that, who's going to be doing it? Like, it's got to be assigned. Ideally, you take a look at the job or function that belongs to everyone, belongs to no one.
Right.
So while other people might assist on that, who's the one person assigned as responsible to see that is getting done?
Right.
Obviously, with our clients, it's a new patient coordinator and somebody holding that position. So,
all right. Well, that makes sense.
yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So these are the three big things. If we sum them up, Google Ads, and they can contact you. We'll put your email on the episode webpage.
Sure.
You'll do an audit of their Google Ads account to kind of give them your 2 cents.
That's right.
Love this video thing, the explainer videos, and then follow up.
Yeah.
And these are the big things that you're advising clients, especially as we move into the new year. It seems like it's becoming a more competitive landscape. Is what
It is.
looks
You
like.
just got to be better. And those are easy things to do that could take whatever advertising you are doing, even if it's just your referrals.
Sure.
It's going to take you to the next level and build relations and build your reputation with Google. And yeah.
Awesome. Well, this is great. Thank you so much for being on, Dan. This is great. Folks, that's all we have for you this week. I will put those links on the episode webpage, especially that download, the implant script from Dan. We'll also put the links to DDS Success, the communication and sales seminars, and definitely worth checking out the MGE New Patient Workshop, which I mentioned that Dan is the primary speaker at. I'll put a link to that as well. And I think we had one more link. We're going to give me your email address. And I think that's it.
I think so.
I think that was it. Folks, that's all we got. Have a great week, and we'll see you at the next episode.